How do I look?
Well, are gonna eat you alive.
What is this? Huh? This is whack! I can't get jiggy with this
Shut up! It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
It's gonna happen.
Hey, welcome back, you wonderful people. Today I got something special to show you guys because I realized that some of you, yes, especially that nerdy Fabio Leon, became very concerned that I was constantly covering the excrement of Hollywood and that I hadn't made a good movie review in a long while. So as a result, I am going to be reviewing a 90s movie that brought me and a lot of people timeless smiles and laughs from the one and only Austrian man that could pull off this kind of comedic spin on a cop movie. And yes, I am talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop. Now, before we begin, I need to make the usual disclaimer that recently YouTube has decided to become idiotic in suppressing my videos and the videos of other creators I know because we've been getting blasted hard by them in the sense of our videos getting little to no exposure or even notifying our subscribers when a new video comes out. So please remember to do what you're seeing on the screen, especially the all notifications bells bit, so that YouTube actually notifies you of when a video of mine actually comes out.
fun and good for your health.
Otherwise, you won't get notified and we'll have to find out, like many of the wonderful subs on this channel, that I uploaded a video several days later through either a community post, a post I made of the video on Twitter, or just YouTube feeling like finally showing my videos through random recommendations.
Okay, you know what?
You.
With that disclaimer out of the way, let's go down memory lane, shall we? So we start the story in the most common place for a lot of epic 80s and 90s Arnold films, the shopping mall, where our muscle-bound hero plays the gruff cop John Kimball, who's somehow been able to blend into the crowd by mimicking a homeless drunk, follows the villain of our story Crisp to a secret meeting he's having with a crackhead information broker he's hired to find out where his ex-wife and son are, and as Kimball is closing in, we find out that Crisp got the info he wanted from the broker, and even did that thing all 90s movie villains do when crackheads demand more money from you.
You know?
That sounds about right.
Of course, what Crisp didn't know was that the crackhead informant brought a crackhead lady with him in case anything happened, and as she's crying about the fact that her crack ATM was just killed, Kimball runs in to ask her if Crisp was the one who did it, but after dealing with way too many reluctant crackhead witnesses throughout his career, my man realizes that the best way to get people like this to give up info is just to handcuff them to the dead body of their former crackhead ATM boyfriend, chase after the criminal, and then come back later for the crackhead for further questioning.
Scrupulous, but effective.
After realizing this, Kimball runs after Crisp, where we find out that his mother is probably a bigger piece of criminal scum than even her merciless killer of a son, because it's obvious enough to me that the only thing both of them care about is getting their hands on the child and exterminating the mother.
Oh no, I ain't messing with you. Oh no.
However, before we can hear about what their morbid fantasies are for getting rid of the mother, Kimball just busts into the hair salon with his gun drawn to arrest Crisp, and look, I honestly don't blame the security guard for acting the way he did. If you encountered a big Austrian man wearing plain clothes and a long-ass trench coat who wears their sunglasses while inside the mall, you would feel extremely sus about this man's claims of being one.
He wants to kill me. You're just gonna stand there? Freeze!
Oh, jeez.
I'm a cop, you idiot.
That's suspicious. That's suspicious. Like, that's suspicious.
Moving on, Kimball arrests Crisp, but after many failed attempts of getting the crackhead lady's cooperation, this is when we're introduced to his new partner, who at this time he could give two shits about, named O'Hara, and being the gruff a-hole loner 90s cop that he is, he decides to pay the crackhead lady a little visit at her usual hangout place, where the first thing you see is some random lady getting her face slapped and thrown inside the place in broad daylight by some generic Mexican/Colombian gangster, but being a man a few words, Kimball already knows how to deal with these dudes because he knows 90s cop diplomacy.
My name is John Kimball, and I love my car.
Good.
Afterwards, he goes inside the club to find out our crackhead girl is being surrounded by a bunch of thugs who won't let him speak to her, so his best solution to this conundrum is just to pull out his shotgun and go boom on these idiots.
Dude, that's awesome!
After scattering the annoying cretins, he ends up having a long chat with the crackhead girl that boils down to, if you don't become a witness in this case, I will use my power as a police officer to legally stalk you and make your life as a crackhead a living hell. And wouldn't you believe it, she actually ends up cooperating in the case, which leads to Crisp's arrest. Pleased by this favorable outcome, Kimball tries to trash talk to Crisp about the fact that he got his ass in prison finally, but then he ends up getting trash talked back by Crisp, who says that all it took for Kimball to catch him was to simply make his wife leave him because of his unhealthy obsession of it.
Oh, damn!
Shortly thereafter, Kimball gets told that he and his new partner O'Hara are going to Ohio to convince Crisp's ex, Joyce, to testify against him in exchange for her freedom because the cops believe she stole several $1 million from him and will use that fact to convince her to cooperate or else face prison time.
Typical. So typical.
On the plane right there, Kimball and O'Hara are trying to figure out what they're gonna do with the limited intel given to them by HQ until they get interrupted when Kimball gets his chair constantly kicked from behind him by a specific annoying child so many times that he decides to use a more direct approach of pacification on him.
If you don't stop screwing around back there, this is what I'm gonna do with you.
That'll do.
Oh, and for those of you curious ones, yes, the kid made all of that ruckus because of a hot woman in a bikini magazine.
Those were the good old days.
Fast forwarding a bit, Kimball and O'Hara end up arriving in Ohio to get to their hotel, but throughout the way, she ends up getting so constantly sick from something she ate on the plane that it forces Kimball to take on her role as kindergarten teacher, and let's just say that many of the women teachers and mothers in that school feel extremely sus vibes about the fact that this big, strong, muscular man wants to teach little kids, and for those of you that didn't grow up in the 90s or the 2000s, this is what most people thought male kindergarten teachers were at the time.
Gay!
Yes, the good old days where that was the worst you had to worry about being a male kindergarten teacher. Now you have to worry about whether or not people think you're a kid diddler as well.
You know I'm right.
Regardless, a nervous Kimball walks in to greet the children and proceeds to ask them police interrogation questions to find out which one of them is Dominic, Crisp's child, by the way. But unfortunately, he doesn't get anywhere with this tactic because he ends up meeting his first challenger, a little girl who needs to go pee and a man who has no idea what the f*** to do in this situation. So his first idea is to find the nearest woman in the building to help this little girl out because I genuinely think he has better knowledge of making things go boom than helping a little kid go to the bathroom. But what do you know? The woman that ends up helping him out is the one he and O'Hara have been looking for all along.
Oh, how convenient!
On a side note, I can't believe I'm saying this, but considering the context of our current times, I would like to give the floor over to my man, the gynecologist's son, so he can state the obvious answer to what is still apparently a hot topic issue, and don't you dare get mad at a 5-year-old now. That's childish.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
My nigga.
After getting the little girl's issue resolved, we see Kimball come back and get distressed because the children suddenly turned into ravenous monsters whose only objective is to terrify adults of the fact that little children could give less of two shits about arcane concepts such as law and order because all they want to do is cause chaotic disorder, but after getting his ankle injured in a sneak attack, the man ends up having what I can only call the most appropriate mental breakdown response.
Shut up! Shut up!
God damn.
Took you long enough.
Oh,
That poor bastard.
After getting in a good recovery run, Kimball is able to calm the little monsters down with his pet ferret.
Excuse me, what?
Don't ask.
Anyways, our gruff cop is working on fixing the damage the children inflicted to the classroom while his guard is down, and then out of nowhere, Dominic comes back in to give the final blow by telling him that his former teacher, his mama, his nanny, his swimming teacher, and even his basketball coach are all better at handling kids than him.
By Jove, you certainly hit the nail on the head!
After that harrowing experience, Kimball comes back to his hotel room more exhausted than a World War II soldier after surviving the invasion of Normandy, and comes back to school the next day. But before he can enact his game plan, he's gotta help this concerned hot mother out by letting her know that she doesn't have to worry about her son being potentially gay because he's suddenly become interested in girl dolls, since the reason he's doing it is so he can look up girls' skirts, which brings her a lot of relief, and the reason behind her concern is because she's traumatized by the fact her husband left her and her son for another man.
What?
Funny enough, back when I was a kid, it wasn't abnormal for little boys at that age to become curious about female anatomy through dolls, and as far as I'm aware of, those boys ended up figuring out their sexuality after going through that lengthy discovery phase while growing up. Nowadays, if a little boy or girl even becomes remotely interested in simple things like playing with dolls of the opposite sex, crazy people/parents online immediately think that they're gay or trans and try to actively screw their lives over without even giving those kids a chance to figure it out for themselves naturally as they grow into adulthood.
Sneaky Franks.
Good lord, this movie has better side plots than Rings of Power. Anyways, Kimball gets to know the kids a little better by doing a little game where they tell him what their dads do for work. He shakes down this terrified lunch thief.
You mean you eat other people's lunches? Stop it!
And after some time, he becomes suspicious of a kid named Zach because he's acting like a recluse while getting bullied by the class until he breaks it up. But before he can find out why this kid's so reluctant to join in the "who is your daddy and what does he do" game, the fire alarm rings, and that's when the chaos ensues again.
It's a fire alarm! Come on! Come on! Everything together! Come on!
5 minutes later.
Come on! Come on! Get over together! Everything together! Come on! Come on! Quiet! Catch a fucking break!
After getting berated hard by the principal and finishing the school day, Kimball notices Zach leaving school and attempts to have a quick chat with his mother about her son, but she ends up speeding off like she's running away from a police interrogation.
Oh, I get it now.
He's a cop.
Oh, come on, guys.
Oink, oink.
Later that night, Kimball and the ravenous hypoglycemic O'Hara go to this restaurant to eat something when by chance they encounter Dominic and her mom, but they end up having a nice dinner where O'Hara at the end of it lets him know that she's aware he's into the hot blonde teacher, which he at this time strongly denies, and changes the subject quickly to let her know that he has absolutely no idea how to deal with the little kids and that they're pushing him around. Yet when she tells him to show no fear to those kids, this man decides to become the kindergarten version of the Full Metal Jacket drill instructor. And I know some of you don't believe me, so here's some receipts.
Can he do that?
He did.
It's called police school. Oh, come on. Stop whining.
Wait, what?
You kids are soft. You lack discipline.
You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you.
Well, I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
Hey, yo, what the f***? You little scumbag. I got your name. I got your ass.
You're not gonna have your mommy run behind you anymore and wipe your little douches. Oh, no. It's time now to turn this mush into muscles.
Right, chill, bro. Just chill out.
You had best unfuck yourself or I will unscrew your head and down your neck.
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball have to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
We get it, man.
That's complete overkill.
Oh, and who can forget this gem as well? Back in the day, this was considered disciplining your child, so they didn't turn out to be an arrogant, selfish prick.
Emma, take your toy back to the carpet.
I'm not a policeman. I'm a princess.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Are you serious right now?
I'm not
Take it back!
All right.
Damn straight.
You don't know me, son!
After a short montage of Kimball turning the little monsters into normal human children through kindness, firm teaching, and patience, he ends up avoiding a personal question Dominic asked of him, which is why he hasn't seen his son in such a long time, because he doesn't want to bring up bad memories, and he ends up putting the kids to sleep. A short time later, he has a nightmare where Crisp appears out of nowhere to shoot him, and this startles him awake, which surprises Joyce, but he ends up calming down after he finds out that she's just asking him out to a dinner date at her house, which obviously makes his day.
Hell yeah!
After coming back from school, Kimball notices that there's a strange car parked right in front of their motel room, and when he goes inside, he almost shoots O'Hara's naked chef fiance while they were in the middle of the act, if you catch my drift, because I can't show it. But after she clears up what's going on, he ends up going to bed. The next day, Kimball is able to get a hold of Zach's mom, where he's able to question her about why Zach has so many bruises on his body, and like any person married to an abusive spouse, she starts making excuses for her husband, yet Kimball says that he'll let it go for now, but that if he sees bruises on the kid again, he'll press charges on her husband.
That's called foreshadowing.
Now, to speed things along a bit, since the movie jumps around a lot between plots near the end, Kimball finds out from O'Hara that Zach is not the kid they're looking for. He goes to Joyce's house where he learns that Dominic is the kid they've been trying to find. He finds out that Joyce has no money in the bank. He flirts with Joyce some more. Kimball finds out that Zach got a huge bruise on his neck, and after getting pissed off enough, he decides to go back into cop mode to take care of business.
I hit you, you bastard. I'm pressing charges against you.
Now that's what I call a curveball.
After he cools off, he gets called into the principal's office and to his surprise finds out she's already figured out that Kimball has absolutely no teaching experience at all, but that despite all of those flaws, he has actually turned out to be an excellent teacher to the children. Also, she asked him this burning question regarding his fight with the abusive dad, which I thought was a pretty nice bit.
What did it feel like to hit that son of a...
Felt great.
I'm President Rathcock, and I approve this message.
Going back to LA for a quick bit, it turns out that all's not well over there since the crackhead lady suddenly dropped dead after consuming poison narcotics Crisp's mother gave to the crackhead lady's dealer, and as a result the police chief is forced to let Crisp go due to having no living witnesses to keep him in jail.
5 minutes later.
Meanwhile, Kimball and O'Hara are enjoying the school town fair when she breaks the news to Kimball that their case has fallen apart due to the dead crackhead lady. But as they're talking about this, Joyce overhears some of their conversation, and this is where it hit the fan because now she knows that Kimball and O'Hara are cops, and she starts to panic and runs away from them with Dominic out of fear that her ex-husband Chris will come after them. Also, we do get a little scene where the madman decides to suddenly go berserk on this old dad because he bought the last toy in the store that he wanted to get for Dominic, but the old man wouldn't relent because he didn't want to accept his bribe. So this is how this psycho solves problems.
So you have chosen death.
I don't like where this is going.
Run! Run!
Back to Kimball, he arrives at Joyce's house only to find chaos ensuing as the panicked mother gets angry at him because she can't find her son, and after she tells him something Dominic once said to him the first time he went to their house, they both run to find Dominic trying to insert some aluminum foil antenna on a cell tower that he thinks is a laser in order to zap away the bad people. But the kid almost gives his mother a heart attack once he slips and almost falls to his death, yet the thing that saves him from that was his backpack.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
However, the crisis is averted once Kimball climbs down to save Dominic, and after taking him back to the house to sleep, he questions Joyce about the money she stole, but she tells him that the money never existed and that it was all made up by Crisp in order to get bounty hunters to find her for a reward. Once he learns this truth from Joyce, the next thing that comes through their minds is just to passionately bone.
Okay, well, that's random.
The next day, Kimball and O'Hara return to school to their usual school duties until Crisp shows up and decides the best way to get to Dominic is to set fire to the school library so that everyone runs away due to the fire alarm being triggered. But when he tries to be sneaky in kidnapping Dominic, the other kids notice what he's trying to do and call him out to the point where Kimball notices what's happening, which gives him the chance to pursue Crisp.
What a twist.
To sum up this last bit, Chris threatens to kill Joyce and Dominic if Kimball doesn't drop his weapon, but his plan falls apart when Kimball's ferret gets other ideas.
It's your own goddamn family!
Did he just...
Yes. Yes, he did.
That's what I'm talking about.
While unexpected,
It is acceptable.
Oh yeah, I forgot Crisp's crazy old mother. A few minutes earlier, she ran over O'Hara thinking that she had killed her, and as she's coming into the bathroom, she shoots Kimball one more time with the intent to kill him slowly, but then a heavily injured O'Hara comes in to save the day by putting this grandma from hell on permanent nap time.
Take it down. Ice the
Son of a bitch!
Hey, that's pretty good.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
You're not so tough without your car, are ya?
Crazy ass bitch!
After the whole chaotic situation is resolved, both Kimball and O'Hara spend some time in the hospital recovering from their wounds. Kimball returns to school to a bunch of happy children, kisses Joyce while in a classroom full of children, and that's how the movie ends.
That's it?
That's it. That's it.
So, to make it short, my rating for this movie is an 8 out of 10 because it is a genuinely hilarious, family-friendly 90s movie that can get everyone to smile and laugh together as we try to see Arnold try to keep a straight face the entire time as he's hearing little kids say the most insane stuff ever. However, it's also a very enjoyable film because of the chemistry Arnold and the children have with each other. You can actually tell that this man enjoyed every second of being involved in this movie and the fact that he was passionate about trying something new that wasn't being the typical action movie star, which I must say is a very refreshing take.
This is good.
Furthermore, it is a timeless film that, apart from making you laugh, teaches people the fact that sometimes all that a person needs in life to become someone better is just love, care, attention, and a change of perspective from their usual environment so that change can occur. In fact, the kids helped the character of Kimball to evolve from a depressed, work-obsessed / divorced loner cop to a kind, gentle man who is now willing to put himself out there to help others out of very bad situations, not because it's his job to do so, but because he actually wants to help people, which shows a very important shift in his character arc, and the way the film shows just how much of a change he has gone through, besides helping the children, is with his newfound rediscovery of love through Joyce, which is ironic considering she is the target of a police investigation.
Agreed.
Heck, even the part near the end where he drops his gun to Crisp is a sign that shows that he genuinely cares about the child and his mother in more ways than in a work setting. If the old Kimball from the start of the movie was in the same situation, he wouldn't hesitate to shoot Crisp in the head without caring whether or not the child got hurt in the process.
Wow, that's dark.
But it's definitely true.
Now, does this mean everything in the movie is perfect? Of course not. And the reason the rating is an 8 out of 10 is because the movie had two side plots regarding the mom concerned about her kid being gay and the other mom with the abusive husband, which, while I thought they were interesting, contributed nothing super essential to the plot and could have made the movie a little bit easier to follow had they been removed. But I understand they included them to help further Kimball's character development, yet I personally think they took a little too much screen time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Alright guys, that's my review on Kindergarten Cop. I hope you enjoyed it, and please stay tuned for my upcoming review on the Ahsoka show, which I'm sure I'm gonna have such a swell time reviewing that bundle of a divisive Star Wars show, just like I had fun reviewing The Mandalorian.
Oh, God help us!
Anyways, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end if you did, and Namarie, friends.